NFL Week 7 predictions. Thursday Night Football. The Jags are going on the road to take on the New Orleans Saints, man. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not going to put any of my faith in Dennis Allen in New Orleans. They're a mid-team. I took New Orleans last week against Houston, and these fools let me down. Dennis Allen is supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. So explain to me, why the hell was C.J. Stroud looking like a 10-year veteran against his defense? C.J. Stroud outplayed Derek Carr. Like, Saints fans really tried to sell us this dream that Derek Carr was going to just elevate this whole entire offense, and the offense still is shit. Like, there was a third down situation where Derek Carr and company needed the first down to keep the drive alive, and instead, this fool threw a 3-yard check down to Alvin Kamara. I know Jacksonville is a really inconsistent and streaky team, but I like them over Dennis Allen in New Orleans. I just like them because they got the coaching advantage. I'm taking Cleveland over Indianapolis. Their defense is phenomenal, and Anthony Richardson is most likely done for the season. You saw how the hell Gardner Minshew played last week against the Jaguars. That's just what comes with Minshew mania. You're going to have some good performances out of Gardner Minshew, and you're also going to have some stinkers in there. Cleveland, they probably won't have Deshaun in this game, but I don't really think it's going to matter all that much. This will be a low-scoring affair, but this defense is ultimately the reason why I believe they win this game. The Steelers play the Rams. The thing with this game is that, you know, the Steelers are a team that tends to play down the competition, all right? But they're an underdog in this game. They're a 3-point underdog. The Rams are favored. And the reason why is because you're probably thinking that the Rams offense should be able to win this game for them regardless of how good the Steelers defense is, because the Steelers have zero offense pretty much. Their offense, you pretty much can go get you something to eat, come back 5 minutes later, and nothing much changes other than who has possession of the ball. I like Pittsburgh in this game. The reason why I like Pittsburgh to win is because, first of all, anytime you're playing any team in LA and you got a fan base like the Steelers, they're going to travel really well. This is most likely going to become a away game for the Rams, even though they're playing at home. Steelers fans are going to travel pretty well, so it's going to be loud. And this defense is phenomenal. At least the defensive line is. Now, the secondary is a little bit shaky, and the Rams receivers probably could have a field day on this Steelers secondary, but at the same time, for Matthew Stafford to carve up the Steelers defense, he's going to have to get the ball out pretty fast against Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt and a really phenomenal defensive line. I think the defense can keep the Steelers afloat in this game, and I think that as long as this offense can get the 20 points, that'll be enough for them to win this game. And it's not like the Rams offense has been lighting the world up on fire. Like, this offense, it's been good. It's been better than what we expected, but it's not like they've been erupting. I like the Raiders against the Chicago Bears. I'm going to take them to win. They don't got Justin Fields. They got Tyson Badgett in there, who didn't look too bad last week, but at the same time, the Raiders have showed the ability that even though they don't play well against good teams, they can beat up on below average teams, and that's what the Chicago Bears are. Give me the Raiders with the W. Now, we got the Bills going on the road to Foxborough. Easily, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. New England's defense hasn't looked good as it did the first couple of weeks into this season. That's mostly due to the offense. And the Bills' defense, you know, they've been playing lights out despite the injuries that they've had to Matt Milano and Trey White. Sean McDermott's doing a fantastic job. Their defensive line is really good. They got multiple guys on that defensive line who can win one-on-one matchups and get after the quarterback. And the Patriots offensive line, if you didn't see the ending to their loss against the LA Raiders, these fools tried to chip Max Crosby with Hunter Henry. It didn't work, and the right tackle got beat. It's like as soon as Mac Jones got the ball in 1.5 seconds, Max Crosby was in the backfield bringing them down. I like the Buffalo Bills to win this game and to win it pretty convincingly. I'm taking the Commanders over the New York Giants. That's not really a game that I really got to think too much about. maybe the New York Giants get up for this game and they keep it close like how they did last week, but their offensive line has been awful, and the Washington Commanders, their defense has definitely underperformed this year. I expected this defense to be much better. This is the worst this defense has been under Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, but they got a fantastic defensive line. Chase Young is making his claim for comeback player of the year. You got Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. They're going to feast on that New York Giants offensive line all afternoon. It doesn't matter if Tyrod plays or if Daniel Jones plays. I don't really think it matters that much. They're not going to have too much time to do anything. And the Washington Commanders are looking for some payback because they tied with the Giants last year, the last time they played. And that was one of the biggest reasons why they missed out on the playoffs last year by this much. So I think that they're going to have added motivation in this game. And if they win this game, they'll be above 500. And I think that Washington is a team that a lot of people are overlooking coming into this year. Sam Howell has played really good. Outside of his 4 interceptions against the Buffalo Bills, he hasn't really had too many bad games. So I trust Washington to win this game against the New York Giants. Although it's a divisional game, these games tend to be a little bit close. I do like for the Commanders to pull away with the victory. Falcons, Buccaneers. This is a game that probably is going to dictate who takes control of the NFC South. Atlanta's defense has been pretty solid, but the Buccaneers' defense has been great. And I just like the Bucs in this game because Atlanta's quarterback situation doesn't give me any confidence. Until they put Taylor Heinicke out there, I'm not picking Atlanta to beat any team that has a remotely solid defense. Desmond Ridder, the dude has tunnel vision up there. I don't trust him. He makes stupid decisions with the ball. He's a good athlete, and when he's on, he's on. But the problem with Desmond Ridder is that very seldomly he's on. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers to win this game. We got Lions versus the Ravens. Now, this is a tricky game. This is a toss-up because I love Lamar. But the Ravens, their wide receivers have really let Lamar down at times. You know, there were a lot of drops in their loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, they bounced back against the Tennessee Titans, but still, like, this offense still hasn't reached its full potential. And it's not because Lamar is playing some damn good football. Like, he's been really good working the quick game. He also has been really accurate on his deep balls. It's just that these receivers have been inconsistent. And I don't know about the Ravens' defensive line in this game. I don't know if that pass rush is going to be able to hit home against the Detroit Lions, who have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. But a key injury to the Detroit Lions is that they're not going to have David Montgomery in this game. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be back. He's going to be healthy, but for some reason, the Lions just don't know how to utilize Jahmyr Gibbs properly. So they could be one-dimensional in this game, and maybe if this ends up becoming a game that the Lions have to win by throwing the football, you still kind of like the Lions. And the Lions, defensively, their secondary, and it's been hit or miss at times. For the most part, it's been dependable. And with the fact that these Ravens receivers struggle with drops, I like Detroit to get the win. Like, I love Lamar. I really do. And I do like the Ravens overall as a team. I just think that the Lions right now, they're really starting to hit their stride, and they're starting to separate themselves from the rest of the other teams in the NFL. We got the Packers going on the road to take on the Denver Broncos. I like the Denver Broncos to get the win. I don't really like Vance Joseph's defense, and I don't like Joe Barry's defense neither. But at the same time, which quarterback do you trust more? Jordan Love or Russell Wilson? I trust Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, he's better than what he was last year. Still isn't great, but I think he could at least outperform Jordan Love. Jordan Love, you don't really know what you're going to get out of him on a week-to-week basis. You know, he could be really good one week, and then the next week he struggles in the first half and wakes up in the second half, and then you can get the performance that you got out of him and their Monday night loss to the Raiders a couple of weeks ago where he just stunk it up for the whole entire game. I trust Denver to get the win. I think this is going to be their second win of the season, and this may be one of the few games that Denver actually has a chance at being able to win. I'm taking Kansas City to beat the Chargers. I have zero faith in Brandon Staley. The Cowboys pretty much gift wrapped it the Chargers to win on Monday night, and they said, F it. We don't want it. Christmas is just around the corner. Save our Christmas gift until Christmas time. And I think that the best Christmas gift that Chargers fans can get at this point is the news that Brandon Staley has officially been fired. And I hate the fact that people are starting to turn on Justin Herbert. Like, people are saying you can't win a Super Bowl with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's overrated. Like, stop it. Regardless of how you feel about Justin Herbert, he's still a top 5, top 10 quarterback in this game. He's still one of the most talented quarterbacks in all of football. He just has shit coaching. Like, when Brandon Staley gets fired at the end of the season, Justin Herbert will be on his third coach in 5-6 years? Most quarterbacks that have to overcome several changes on the coaching staff, especially head coach, mostly end up being bust. So the fact that Justin Herbert is still considered to be a top 10, top 5 quarterback, wherever you want to rank him, despite all of the coaching turnover that he's had to deal with, shows you how good of a quarterback he is. And, Kansas City's defense has played really well. And in past years, you've always been able to trust the Chargers to be able to score points on Kansas City's defense. But this year, I don't know what the hell Steve Spagnuolo was cooking up during the offseason, but this defense is the best that it's ever been under him, being the defensive coordinator. I'm going with KC to get the win. I know their offense hasn't looked all that great, but they're going up against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And the thing that makes the Chargers defense bad is their secondary. Like, their front seven has been really good. Like, Khalil Mack has been playing at an all-pro level this year. So if Kansas City's offensive line struggles in this game and this pass rush of LA can help out that struggling secondary, then maybe this game potentially could tilt in the Chargers' favor. But I'm not really putting a lot of faith in Brandon Staley. I think he's an awful head coach, and I'm going to take the Chiefs just because they got the better head coach, and I just think that they're the more safer team to pick. We got Eagles, Dolphins. The last time we thought the Dolphins have arrived, the Buffalo Bills reminded us that they were kings of the AFC East. Now, people are still high on the Miami Dolphins, right? They're 5-1. Many people regard them as one of the top teams in the AFC, where they're going up against pretty much everybody's pick to make it out of the NFC and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I don't know how you feel about the Philadelphia Eagles, but I think that the Eagles are being just a tad bit underrated. Like, they're being a little bit overly scrutinized. This is a 5-1 football team, and people are making it seem like they're 0-6. They continue to call out the coaching staff changes. Yeah, Jalen Hurts had a really awful game against the Jets, and he kind of has taken a little bit of a step back, but they still have one of the best teams in all of the NFL, and so do the Miami Dolphins. I'm rolling with the Eagles to get the win, though. For some reason, anytime the Dolphins are in big games and prime time, they don't really have great performances. And the last time I saw the Miami Dolphins play in a big game on Sunday Night Football, they didn't really beat the Patriots all that convincingly. So give me the Eagles to win against the Miami Dolphins. I just think the Miami Dolphins have a big game problem. Obviously, I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks over the Arizona Cardinals. Even though I do like Arizona to cover against Seattle, they are like a 8-point underdog in this game. Geno Smith has struggled, but I think that Seattle should be able to pull off the win, regardless if this ends up being a game where maybe Geno Smith still can't get a lot of things going due to the offensive line and whatnot. Lastly, Monday Night Football, we got the Vikings hosting the San Francisco 49ers, who are coming off a shocking loss to the Cleveland Browns without Deshaun Watson. I think the 49ers bounce back. The Vikings, they don't have a good offensive line. Their defense is okay. The 49ers, yeah, they're down a couple of key guys. Deebo Samuel is roughed up. Chris McCaffrey is roughed up as well. But I still think that the 49ers, with how good their defensive line is, they're going to be able to get a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins. And they're not going to have Jay Jettis in this game. Now, they do got some really good receivers, even though they're not on the level of Jay Jettis. Jordan Addison has been one of the best rookie wide receivers so far this season. You got TJ Hawkinson, you got KJ Osborne, but I just don't know if this offense can have a lot of success against this defense, especially with the fact that they're one-dimensional. They can't run the football at all. And I got Alexander Madison on my fantasy teams, or I had him on my fantasy teams, and he's been a major disappointment. Like, give me the 49ers. These are my NFL Week 7 predictions. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below.